Fuck! What do you think, Charles? Yeah, me too. Hi, Sean!
What the hell are you doing?
This is Charles. He edits the videos. That's why they take so long to come out. We're gonna play some NES games. You wanna join us? He must have went out to get a controller. I don't blame him. These games are pretty exciting. Speaking of games, the first one we're gonna play today is Codename Viper. Okay, right off the bat, where's his pants? Hey, gives new meaning to the phrase going commando. Codename Viper is a side-scrolling shooting game. You play as Kenny Smith, codename Viper, a Special Forces agent. Your commander, Director Jones, tasks you with investigating a South American drug syndicate. There are 7 stages and they each play out the exact same. Each stage has a time limit and you start with a pistol by default, but you can find a machine gun to use. However, ammo is not unlimited. Each level has a ridiculous amount of doors that you have to check behind, kind of like that Michael Jackson Moonwalker game. You check behind the doors for hostages, specifically a captured commando. The commando you have to find in every stage because he gives you a grenade which you need before you can leave the stage. Get to the end of the stage, Viper will blow up a wall with a grenade, and you're done with that stage. After the stage, Viper will talk to the recovered commando, and you'll get to learn more about the drug syndicate through a letter that fills up more and more after you complete each stage. Come on. I'm just gonna run past them all. No, bird! When you finish the letter, you find out that your commander is the one leading the drug syndicate. Instead of reporting this to the proper authorities, Viper decides to go to his house and murder him. The actual fight against Commander Jones is easy. Mr. Smith destroyed the underground drug routes where Commander Jones was involved. However, this does not mean he destroyed the huge syndicate that intended on conquering the world through dealing drugs. He decided to fight alone against the huge cartel when he learned that even his special mission was infiltrated by drugs. The day will come when Mr. Smith destroys the drug syndicate. Aw, now you've went ahead and spoiled the sequels for me. Other than the fact that it looks like Viper isn't wearing pants, the game isn't bad. The sound effects are pretty good, and there's even a couple simple voice lines like "thank you" that sound alright. The real deciding factor in a game like this is the gameplay. How does the character control and how stiff does it feel? Luckily for Codename Viper, it feels alright. It's a little stiff, but everything registers pretty well, and there's no insane hitboxes or glitches that happen. For pros, I would say simple but fun gameplay, good sound effects, and appropriate difficulty. Each level seems to get a little bit harder than the previous level, but it never feels overwhelming or frustrating. For cons, no pants, and a bit repetitive and simple. Wow, that was a good game. Let's hope the next game can live up to it. And speaking of the next game, this is Golgo 13, Top Secret Episode. Golgo 13 Top Secret Episode was released in March 1988 by Vic Tokai. Oh god, he's disfigured. Oh no. Here, you wanna play? Golgo 13 Top Secret Episode is based on a manga of the same titular character. He's a James Bond type of assassin whose objective is to destroy the Drek group. Whereas Codename Viper was painfully generic, Golgo 13 is anything but that. It's stylish in its graphics, and the plot is much more nuanced than a typical NES game. Like this part where you meet up with a female acquaintance at a hotel for some sexy time, but the game hits you with a surprisingly well done scene. It's such a beautiful evening, and yet, out there, Berlin at night, an Iron Curtain just doesn't seem right. The camera switches to an outside view of the hotel, and we see the two character silhouettes embrace. Okay, Golgo 13, I appreciate the craftsmanship. Golgo 13 Top Secret Episode doesn't have just one type of gameplay. The side-scrolling shoot the bad guys portion makes up a large bit of it, but there's also first-person modes where you have to shoot assassins, helicopters, submarines, etc. There's a flying stage and swimming stages. There's even a first-person dungeon crawling perspective. So there's quite a bit of variety here. Unfortunately, most of your time is spent walking from one location to another in a city-like area. What makes this frustrating is the fact that you can only shoot standing up, and the enemies crouch down when they are shooting. So your bullets just go over their heads every time. This is one of my biggest pet peeves for this kind of game. I hate not being able to hit the enemies because you're too goddamn tall. Okay, I've had enough. You can do a jump kick, but it sucks. In fact, you're better off just trying to avoid the enemies and get to the next section. No! The game gives you unlimited continues, which is very much appreciated, and you get to restart pretty much where you died. It also keeps track of how many times you've died, which is a neat little touch. For pros, I would say interesting story, at least for an NES game, and stylish representation. For cons, the side-scrolling gameplay is mediocre and frustrating. I quit Golgo 13 before beating it. I just couldn't stand any more of those bullshit side-scrolling sections where you can't hit the enemies with your bullets because they crouch. Why can you not crouch and shoot at the same time? So that was the two games for today, and if I had to choose which one I think is better, I'm going to go with Codename Viper. It's not amazing and it's not innovative or anything, but what it does pretty well. It never feels like a chore to play, whereas Golgo 13 sometimes is very infuriating to get through those side-scrolling sections. But not a bad episode. I didn't hate either of these games. Which is surprising considering I chose 2 random NES games. Don't you agree, Charles? Oh my god, Charles, what are you doing?